How's it going, everyone? Mountainspyder here, bringing another episode in the Pokemon TCG series. And today I want to be having a chat about just the meta in the Pokemon TCG theme series, as well as just the decks that have come out in it. So I'm going to jump into some games and just have a chat while we're talking. So I'll pick up a deck I haven't played in ages, which is Blazing Volcano. And I'm actually quite sad, I haven't played it in quite a while. So, as most of you know, I haven't been playing Pokemon TCG for the last more or less 6 months. I took a break from like August last year to basically mid-January this year. It's not really 6 months, but close enough. And coming back was quite interesting. Not with regards to like the decks I'm going up against in the general themes series. Oh wow, someone's either doing a challenge or they've just started playing. So I'm glad I'm playing Blazing Volcano into deck rather than one of the newer ones. Okay, this is kind of counterintuitive to the video I'm making right now. But anyway, what I was saying, this is an absolutely awful hand, is that coming back was quite interesting because the meta didn't feel that different, which is quite sad. So this is talking about post Charizard Leon and post Dreadnought release. And getting back to the game, I just didn't feel like that much had changed. And just taking a look at the first 15 games I played compared to the last 15 games I played before I stopped, honestly, not a lot had changed, which is really disappointing. Because I think quite a few decks have come out recently, which look, the decks aren't fantastic, but they certainly are interesting. And I wouldn't necessarily say they are bad. Let's drop that down there. So, in terms of the last 15... sorry, let me finish this turn quickly. I'm gonna grab... would I get a knockout? I'm miles away from a knockout. I need to get some good draw going here. I haven't played this deck in actually so long. I really want a draw card. So let's go for... I don't like TV Reporter that much. I think Lily makes the most sense. Let's grab a Lily and then... let's grab... Combuskin, just so I can make sure that evolution happens. Actually, I need to make sure an energy happens next turn more than anything else. Actually, I should draw an energy. Let's get the Combuskin out. Let's do that. And let's go for Stunning Likeness. So, oh man, there's nothing. I shouldn't really be surprised. So, in terms of the 15 that I lost, 15 from the last season, 15 from this season. So when I stopped playing in 2020, the most common deck I ran up into was Soaring Storm. Which accounted for 4 of the 15 last games I played, making up 27%. Ooh, that was a decent draw, but no energy, which does kind of suck. So Soaring Storm made up the majority, which, honestly, not really a surprise. I'm going to KO next turn, aren't I? No, I'm not going to KO next turn. Honestly, not much of a surprise. I'm pretty sure we all saw that coming. That Soaring Storm was the most. And you guessed it. The deck that followed it was Relentless Flame, the old Charizard deck. That I ended up actually getting 2 in the last 15 games of 2020. I thought I had more, but anyway. So, not really a big shocker there. I mean, let's be serious, we all kind of expected that. This is onto my bench, right? Yeah. Let's bring that forward. So honestly, not that much of a surprise, which is really, really sad. I need to smooth over. I want to get a draw card again for next turn. I kind of want to get a Houndoom, because I want to bring in... how am I going to do this? I really want to get Houndoom going. Drop Prof. Let's get Hound Doom there. What else to do? So it's kind of sad that not a whole lot changed. I was actually really super lucky right there. And it's really sad that not a lot has changed. I should have actually had Hound Door go down and do 10 damage. That was silly of me. And it is really sad that not much has changed because it kind of feels a little bit stale, which is very sad because it shouldn't. By all rights, it really shouldn't. But it does feel incredibly stale. I'm actually going to fix my mistake. I can't fix my mistake because can't fix. I was going to use Guzma, but I can't actually use Guzma. It made no sense. Let's just get Entei going. And let's Pokemon Fan Club. Just thin my deck out a bit. I really want that, and I would like that. Man, I haven't played this deck in so long. So it is a real bummer that not much has changed, because I think that with the release of so many decks, we should have seen more of a shift towards using those new decks. But that hasn't really happened. And I do think there are a number of reasons which could have led to that. Honestly, a big part of those reasons is the fact that Relentless Flame and Soaring Storm are just that good. And I mean, the decks that came up other than that were like the Groudon deck, the Kyogre deck, Necrozma, Rillaboom, and like the Zamazenta deck. The Skeptile deck came up once. The Galarian Darmanitan and the Galarian Farfetch'd decks, each. So it's literally 7% for all those other ones, which was pitiful. And now, if I take a look at what I came up against this year, two guesses what the most common deck was. And ironically this time, it's actually tied, but because it's, I mean, it's not the biggest sample size, I will admit that, only being 15. But Relentless Flame and Soaring Storm are both tied for #1 spot with 4 games each, making up 26% each way. So again, it is kind of a case of, well, not much has really changed. And again, those two decks are just great. They do what they need to do. I didn't use Macago. They do what they need to do, and they do so very reliably. And then following that up is the Groudon one time, Galarian Darmanitan one time, Dreadnought once, and Necrozma once, Zamazenta once, and I actually came up against Stormcaller twice, which is quite interesting. I've definitely seen a few more Stormcaller games this year compared to last year. And I think a big help of that is because the new because of the new Dreadnought deck which came out, and another Fire deck which came out, which means more people are playing the Water type decks, which then makes Stormcaller more powerful being a Lightning type deck. So I guess that's one nice thing that's happened. But for the most part, it's stayed more or less the same. Which is a bit of a bummer, and I think quite a few things have led to that. Prominently among that, I think, is the issue that in terms of the decks that have come out, there hasn't been that much variance to those decks. They've been kind of stale, almost. I don't even know why I put that energy there. That was completely silly of me. They've been quite stale, because if you look back at the 3 most recent releases, well, if you think back to like the last 3 releases, we've gotten, in this set, we've got Dreadnought, a water deck. Prior to that, we got Galarian Darmanitan, a water deck. Prior to that, Fair, Zamazenta, and Zacian. And then before that, we had the Inteleon. So, in the last little while, we've gotten 3 new water decks. If you look at the Fire, we got the new Charizard deck, which is unbelievably good. And if you haven't watched my video yet, I highly suggest you watch it because it's pretty darn good. So you've got that. Why am I using smooth over here? I don't need smooth over here. Let's just get rid of town ball. So that's a super good deck. You've got yourself. Prior to that was the Incinerate deck, which came out not that long ago, which is also a really good deck. Oh, a really good deck, but it was a pretty decent deck. And of course, prior to that, you've got the Relentless Flame, which is still getting played a lot. So in the last little while, we've gotten quite a few fire decks. Granted, Relentless Flame's got a bit of age on it now, but it's still a really solid deck. But if you think back to the other typings, the last Psychic type deck was Necrozma, which was quite a while back. And if you think back to the last Dark type deck, you're going back quite a way. Back to, I think it's Darkness Destruction. Darkest Destruction. And it's incredibly sad that we're just not seeing these other typings actually in the game. Like, they're not doing anything. And it's incredibly disappointing. Let's hop on just to get this going. And it's incredibly sad because it's like there are so many awesome other cards out there, and you're just not seeing them. Like all the other different typings out there, you're just not seeing, because all you're seeing is like water and fire, and it makes the meta really stale. And I'm gonna go look through the store now quickly to prove just to like showcase my point in the fact that we're not really seeing different typings. So we've got Charizard over here, fire type deck. We've got Cinderace here, fire type deck. Prior to that, fair. During the Sun and Moon series, we had a bit of a break there with that line. But look, one line down, sorry, another line down. You've then got the Relentless Flame deck, which is the Charizard deck. So what is that? The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, in the last 17, we've gotten ourselves 3 fire decks, 2 of which have been Charizard decks and have been incredibly powerful. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So let's just call it 18 decks. So the last 18 decks, like basically 18 releases, well, let's put more than that. The last 18 decks, we've had 2 fire type decks, which, sorry, we've had 3 fire type decks, 2 of which are doing incredibly well. In that same span, we've had 3 water type decks, so 4 water type decks. Dreadnought, prior to that, directly, Galarian Darmanitan. Bit of a break, thank you with Summer's Enter, but prior to that we had the Inteleon theme deck, which is now 3 already, and then we had the Unseen Depths, which is 4 water type decks, and then once again we've got Torrential Cannon, which is a 5th water type deck. So in the last 18 releases, we've had 5 water decks. Basically, a third of the decks that have come out have been water type decks. And if you're looking back to the old Psychic decks, you've got Necrozma, which is here, sitting at spot 15. Not 15, sorry. That's 18, 17, 16, 15. 15, sorry, is Battle Mind. And 13 is Necrozma. So basically 13 decks. In the last 12 decks, we've not seen a Psychic type deck. We have not seen a Lightning type deck in the last 13 decks. Granted, yes, there's a little bit in the Soaring Storm, but we're just not seeing a variation. If you're looking for a Darkness type deck, you got to scroll for a while. You got to keep going. Destruction Fact, sorry, that was the name. All the way down here, and I mean, to say this deck has aged would be an understatement. And it's really sad seeing how little the other typings get love. Because if you're looking at just these most recent sets, this is a bit of an oddball with the 2 steel types, which I'm really glad there's more steel types coming out. They do nothing in the meta because of the prominence of fire, but at least it's something different, so I quite like that. We do have a bit of fighting in sets of Galarian Surfetch, which no one plays, and arguably the much better one, which is Towering Heights. It's significantly better as in terms of fighting deck. So we kind of got that going for us. In terms of grass, you've got yourself the Rillaboom deck, and you've got yourself the Skeptar deck way back in the corner over there. So it is really sad that the other typings are just not getting love. And I'd really love to hear everyone else's opinion as to the decks they're actually seeing. Because all I'm seeing are the same decks. I'm seeing Soaring Storm, I'm seeing Relentless Flame. And I'm pretty sure as more people catch on to it, there's going to be more Charizard themed decks as well. Because it's really an underrated deck. It's good. I'm sitting with a 70% win rate with this deck. And it's... yeah, it's... I would like to see more variation of theme decks that come out. And that's if the theme decks do continue, because of there's a few rumors going around that they are stopping. So I'm very curious as to what the future holds for the current meta. I'm really hoping what we're sitting in right now is not what we're going to be in forever. A, just because I'd like more variation, and B, because I would like some more variation. I really want to see a deck put Soaring Storm in the ground. I want to see a deck put the old Relentless Flame in the ground. I don't want that deck to be a water type deck. We've got enough water type decks at the moment. And I kind of get the idea that they realized, oh, Relentless Flame, it's a really good deck. We need to stop it. So they release more water decks. They're okay. They're not great. The new Dreadnought deck arguably is pretty good. But they're okay. And I get it. People like Charizard. Charizard's super popular. Cool. There's a lot more Pokemon out there that are not Charizard. So I'm very interested to hear in the comments down below. Have you felt that the meta's even changed with these last few releases? Because honestly, I'm not seeing that many new theme decks out there. I'm basically running into the same decks over and over again. Bar today apparently, which is seeing the generic theme deck, which is very strange. So I'm very curious in the comments down below what all of you think is happening in the meta with theme decks, and if you're actually seeing any variation. Like, I really wish Pokemon TCG had like a log where you could see like the deck you played against, and the win-loss against that. Like in this splash screen. It'd be really cool to see that, just to actually go through the list and have a bit more information on your breakdown. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble now. It's just this is one of those like wake up thoughts I had, that I'm just sitting there looking at these, and it's a bit of a bummer. But anyway, thanks so much for listening to our rambling. I hope you got a bit of insight out of it. And like I said, I'm really curious to see what everyone's run up against. I love the comment section of these videos. And I don't know, I'm hoping some people have some different opinions from me, because it's a bit of a bummer. It's not an opinion I like to have. I like to see variation. I really don't like it when everyone just gets stuck playing the same meta. It's why I like patch changes that come out in other games. Like in Overwatch, a patch change comes out, Sigma was ridiculously overplayed, and nowadays you're seeing a lot less Sigma, which is great. I wish we saw that in Pokemon TCG. Alright everyone, thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you didn't mind my rambling too much. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and cheers. Enjoy.